What is up, everybody? My name is Justin French, covering music for those who care, and right now taking a look at the new album from Ghost, this one entitled Prequelle. So not only is this an anticipated album release for me in 2018, but this is an anticipated release in the metal community. I got into Ghost with their last record, Meliora, and I thought it was a pretty great record. I think Cerise is still a pretty fantastic track, and Square Hammer from their Popestar EP that they released in 2016 is still catchy as hell. I actually got to see them at Carolina Rebellion in 2016. Here's a clip for those of you who don't believe me on that. I should also say that there was a bit of controversy before this album had even been written and recorded, because Tobias Forge, who is the mastermind between Papa Emeritus 1, 2, 3, and now Cornucopia, we'll get to that here in a few minutes, was actually sued by the other members of Ghost because of some royalty disputes. Apparently, Forge was accused of withholding financial information and payments to the other members that were playing in Ghost. So on September 30th of 2017, Papa Emeritus III, who sang on Meliora, was forcibly removed on stage by authorities whenever they were performing the last track in their homeland of Sweden. All of a sudden, this old guy comes up on stage. Don't worry, I know that they have a revolving door of lead singers. Don't worry, I know my knowledge. Comes up on stage and says this: "I am Papa Emeritus Zero. The party is over and a new era begins. The Middle Ages start now." However, from what I read, that stint with Papa Emeritus Zero didn't seem to last long, with the group telling him that they needed a new leader with youth, stamina, and sexual charisma. Someone more like you, but in your prime. So that's how we ended up with Cornucopia. So the main themes you're going to find here on this record come in the form of death and doom set in medieval times, more specifically the Black Death era. And you could definitely get a feel for that in the first single lyrically, Rats, which kind of talks about things spreading quicker than you think they would, like Black Death. And I also did a reaction review to that song for anyone that wants to see it. It'll be right above my head, but I'll talk about it briefly. I think it's a great introduction for Cornucopia here on this record. I love his vocal style and the growl he does whenever he says rats. The guitar lines are really good. I really love the synths, and it's a really, really catchy tune. And I know I'm not a big person whenever it goes to oh or na-na in choruses, but it's really catchy. And then we got another single, which was Dance Macabre, and I have to give credit to where credit is due, Ghost. You're not one of those bands that releases 7 singles before the album even comes out, so that's fantastic. But anyways, I tried to do a reaction review to this song, but it ended up getting blocked, so anyways, my thoughts on that is it's the complete opposite of Rats. It's definitely more catchy, it's a bit more upbeat. It kind of reminds me of the sound of Meliora. And lyrically, it kind of talks about living it up for the night because you know you're going to end up dying the next day. So you try to make the best out of it as you can. So again, it's a really catchy song. So with the 2 singles being released to the public, what do I think about the rest of the record? Y'all? I think Ghost have delivered one of my favorite records of 2018 so far. I think that the concept for this record is executed very nicely, and the music behind it just complements it very, very well. I also love Cornucopia's vocals. They're very top-notch. Again, I know this is one person that has done, Papa Emeritus and all this, but the vocals here are fantastic, and the atmosphere is dark. This, like they promised, is a darker record compared to Meliora, even on the more upbeat tracks that are on this record. So the first song that we have here is Ashes, and man, is this a fantastic way to start this album off with. Usually, I'm not a fan for intro and outro tracks to an album, but this one just builds more and more as it progresses. It kind of starts off very minimalistic, and then it goes into these kids that are reciting the whole Ring Around the Rosie Pocket Full of Posy. sing-alongs that we've all sang along to as kids. I didn't even know until a few years ago that that song was about Black Death. But then it gets into this guitar and keyboard line, and the creepy part about that is how the keys really play in the song, and the guitars just sound very dirty in a good way. And it builds up into what is the next track, Rats. So right from the start, great way to build atmosphere for this record. So I know I'm probably going to end up butchering the pronunciation of these two tracks, but might as well go ahead and talk about them because they're very interesting. These two tracks are instrumentals that go over 5 minutes. That last one almost clocking in at 6 minutes. Miasma and Hellevetfonster. Again, the one with the H, I guess is what I'm going to call it, because I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not Swedish. But Miasma is very interesting because I love how the synths are pretty much the prominent factor of the song, and the heavier guitars kind of play a factor in too. I really dig that sound, and also the addition of the saxophone courtesy of Papa Nile at the end of this track is magnificent. And then we have the one with the H, Hellevetfonster, or Fonster. I don't know how to pronounce it. Again, I'm not Swedish, so I apologize for that. What I really enjoy about it is how the atmosphere feels for it. Again, this clocks in at almost 6 minutes long. I love how the flute, I'm guessing, there's some woodwind instrument, I'm going to take a guess and say it's a flute, really opens this track up with those heavier guitars again. And then it just, near the halfway point of the song, kind of transitions into this really nice acoustic part. And I think that those two are very interesting tracks, again, because they're instrumental. And it kind of makes me wonder what would happen if Cornucopia, I about almost said Papa Emeritus, Cornucopia actually had lyrics and sang to these songs. That'd be pretty interesting, but overall, I really did enjoy the two instrumental tracks more than I thought I would. Now, some tracks that you're going to find more of the heavier moments here on this record come in the form of Rats, which I've already talked about, Witch Image, which I really do like. It's got some really nice guitar riffs, and the chorus is catchy, and probably my favorite off of this album, which is Faith. Faith is probably the heaviest you're going to find here on this record. It just has more of this kind of doom metal sound that the band is very well known for, and mixes up with very nice vocals, and I love the guitar work here on this song. Now, the slower moments that come on this record is where I feel like more of the piano seems to shine here on this record. On tracks like See the Light, it has some pretty good guitar leads in the background with that. Pro Memoria, and the last track that is on this record, which is Life Eternal, which kind of asks the question, what would you do if you live forever? And that last lyric at the end of the song just kind of leaves that question up to the listener at the end of this album. So overall, I am digging the hell out of Ghost's new album. One of my favorite records of 2018 so far. I have to say, the concept behind this record is fantastic. I love the vocals that are done courtesy of Cornucopia. I'm sure he's going to be replaced by the time this next record comes out in the next few years. So it was pretty good for what we got. I love the instrumentation here on this album. I think it complements it very well. And the atmosphere behind it is just really dark and gloomy, especially for a Ghost album. So my rating here on this record is going to be a high 9 out of 10. So anyways, y'all, these are my thoughts on Ghost's new record, Prequelle. What did you think of the album? Definitely comment in the comment section down below. And anyways, y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you all for watching this video. As always, thanks to Infinity on Hannah for these awesome designs. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can click right over there to catch up on more content on this channel. If you want to see a previous video that I did, you can click right over there to see that video. And if you want to follow any of my social media links, they are linked down at the bottom. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you soon.